Abstract morphological facts. So let's look at some facts about morphology, which varies from language to language. They are found in one language but not necessarily found other languages. For example, if we take up this sentence, I eat one melon a day, right? It's a correct English sentence. And if we are to make melon plural, we'll make melons. Like this, we eat 2 melons a day, right? So in English, for single entity, we have a singular noun. And for more than one entity, we have a plural noun. We add as to it and make it a plural, right? So we have 2 morphemes in this case. We eat 2 melon a day. But if we take up this sentence, it will stand incorrect in English language, because if we are to make this correct, we'll have S after melon. But is it the case with other languages? I don't think so. No morphological plural. So there are certain languages in the world which do not have morphological plural. It means that 1 melon and 2 melon. They'll use it like this. As we have 1 fish and 2 fish. So, though here we say that we have a 0 morph. But in many languages there is no concept of 0 morph, because there is no plural morpheme. For example, Indonesian or Japanese language. In these 2 languages, there is no concept of plural morph. 2 melon, 3 melon, 4 melon remains the same. For example, you can have these sentences, Indonesian sentences before you, and Japanese sentence. I eat 2 melons every day. This is an English sentence, but if we translate word for word the Indonesian sentence, I eat 2 fruit melon every day. There is no plural morpheme. Similarly, in Japanese, we have every day 2 melon, object eat, right? So we don't have any plural morpheme in this language. Whereas in English, I eat 2 melons every day. The evil giant at the top of the beanstalk eats 2 melons, 3 fish, and 4 children a day. This is an English sentence. We have just talked about plural morpheme in English. But if we take this sentence, in this sentence, 2 melons, melons becomes plural. It has a plural morpheme. But 3 fish, fish doesn't have a plural morpheme. And similarly, if we look at the word children, it's the plural of child, right? So here we have a problem, we have a difference in morphological process, especially in plural morpheme in English, right? So if we know that fish has a 0 morpheme, right? So when we say 3 fish, it means 3 fish plus a 0 morpheme. Why 0 morpheme? Because we have a morpheme, plural morpheme that exists in English language. If there wouldn't be any plural morpheme, so in that case there wouldn't be any 0 morpheme. For a 0 morpheme to be present, there ought to be a plural morpheme. Similarly, if we look at the word children, its singular is child, so its plural is children. So what happened is that not only an internal vowel change took place in the stem or the root of the word from child to children, I to a sound, and for plural we added ren, a morpheme ren, which is not generally used with many words in English language. So, as I just said to you about children, let's consider some other example. Today they claim that they'll fix the clock tower by Friday, but yesterday they claimed that it would take at least a month. So if you look at the words claim used in this sentence, when it is used in the present, it is claim, single morpheme, right? And when it was used as past, we added ed, past morpheme, right? Is it the case with other languages? If we are speaking Vietnamese and Chinese, we come to know that there is no past morpheme. The word claim will remain in the present claim and in the past claim. However, speaking Chinese will have a different, that we'll be using the word yesterday with it. And yesterday will tell us that the claim is used as past tense. Or if we do not use yesterday, then a morpheme L has to be used to show that the verb is to be meant as a past form. Today they say, but yesterday they said. Similarly, we have some words in English language in which there is no past morpheme, rather there is some internal vowel change. This is a rule which is known as ablaut, right? So similarly, you have a lot of other words in which some internal vowel change takes place, as in know and knew. That these verbs and others do not add t, d, or add to make their past tense is an elementary fact about English morphology, and we all of us know this fact. It is a fact about English that there is a morphological distinction among universal quantifier between the one designating all of the two or both, or all of more than two of a particular type of entity. So we know that when we are referring to a single thing, we have one, and when we are referring to more than one, we are using a plural morpheme, right? But if we take example of especially the old ancient Greek language, in ancient Greek language we have one word for one, another word for two objects, two things, referring to two things, and for three and more we have another word. For example, you can look at these, they are difficult to pronounce, right? It's ancient Greek, but from the translation you can understand one horse, two horses, and three or more horses, right? So it means that in certain languages the rule of plural is different. In some languages there is no plural morpheme. In other languages there are more than one morphemes for singular, for two things, two objects, and more than two objects. There are some languages, right, like Manam and other language, Lyric, in which we have not only word for a singular object, we have for two objects, we have a word for three. We also have a triad, right? So this is a fact which is for this language. So we can conclude from all these things that languages behave differently. They are different from each other. In some languages there are no plural markers. In some languages there is 1, 2 marker. In some languages there are more than 1, 2 markers. So when we make an analysis of morphology of a certain language, we have to look at these facts. So as a morphologist, when we take up data from different languages, we not only look for similarity, because when we look at similarity, that restricts us from understanding many facts about that languages. We also look at the differences, because the differences also help us understand how one language varies from other language.